Have you ever watched a show or movie and felt this deep, lingering mystery pulling you in, leaving you with 100 questions? That's exactly how we felt when the Rings of Power introduced us to the Stranger and the Dark Wizard. Who are they, really? Is it possible that they're tied to one of the most powerful, secretive orders in Middle-earth? Now, if you're like me, you've probably spent hours scrolling through fan forums, piecing together clues, and hoping for some epic reveal that connects these enigmatic figures to the legendary Istari, Gandalf, Saruman, and the other mysterious wizards. This is more than just a storyline. It's a connection to some of the most cherished and iconic characters in Tolkien's universe. For those of us who grew up marveling at Gandalf's wisdom or were haunted by Saruman's betrayal, this feels personal, right? We need answers because the Rings of Power isn't just entertainment. It's part of a legacy we've all been invested in for years. What if the Stranger is more than just a wanderer? What if the Dark Wizard's presence isn't just another threat, but the key to unlocking one of the greatest mysteries in Middle-earth? Stick around, because today, we're diving deep into the lore, piecing together the puzzle, and exploring how this ancient order of wizards could shape not only the series, but also the future of Middle-earth. You won't want to miss this. Who are the Istari? The mysterious order explained. Let's start by setting the scene. What exactly are the Istari? For many fans of The Lord of the Rings, the term Istar might not ring a bell, but you're definitely familiar with some of its members. The Istari, also known as the Wizards of Middle-earth, are a group of 5 beings sent by the Valar to help guide and protect the free peoples of Middle-earth. Their mission? To aid in the fight against Sauron, but with strict limitations on their powers and influence. In Tolkien's lore, the Istari are not simply wise old men who learned magic. They're actually Maya, powerful spirits that existed before the shaping of the world, much like Sauron himself. Sent by the Valar, the higher order of godlike beings, the Istari were tasked with providing counsel and moral guidance, rather than directly intervening in the conflict against evil. The catch here is that while they possess immense power, they are not allowed to use it recklessly or take control of the people they are meant to protect. So, who are these 5 Istari? The most famous, of course, are Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast, all of whom have appeared in Peter Jackson's adaptations of Tolkien's works. But there are also 2 lesser-known members, Alatar and Palando, the Blue Wizards, whose stories are largely untold in Tolkien's published works. Could the Rings of Power finally give us answers to the mysteries surrounding these 2? The Stranger and the Dark Wizard in the Rings of Power. Now that we've established who the Istari are, let's dive into the Rings of Power and the characters we believe to be part of this legendary order, the Stranger and the Dark Wizard. If you've watched the series, you know that the Stranger, played by Daniel Wayman, crash-landed in Middle-earth in a dramatic fashion. His mysterious origins, immense magical abilities, and lack of knowledge about his own identity have led to a whirlwind of fan theories. Who is he? Could he be Gandalf before he fully understood his purpose? Or is he perhaps one of the Blue Wizards sent to guide the people of Middle-earth? In Season 1, the Stranger is pursued by 3 mystics, who refer to him as one of the Istari, further fueling speculation about his identity. But before we could get any definitive answers, Season 2 introduced yet another Istar-like figure, the Dark Wizard, portrayed by Ciarán Hinds. This character seems to be an antagonist, controlling the same mystics that chased the Stranger in Season 1. However, there's an interesting twist. According to Tom Bombadil, portrayed by Rory Kinnear in the series, the Dark Wizard was once like the Stranger, suggesting that he too may have been one of the Istari who has since fallen into darkness. This revelation opens up a wealth of possibilities for the Rings of Power. Could the Dark Wizard be one of the Blue Wizards who ventured east and succumbed to corruption? Or is this a completely new character created for the series? Either way, it's clear that the show is drawing on the rich history of the Istari to build suspense and add depth to the unfolding story. The powers and limitations of the Istari now, Let's talk about what makes the Istari so unique, their powers and, more importantly, the limitations placed upon them. Unlike Sauron, who is a Maya that fully embraces his powers for domination, the Istari are given strict guidelines by the Valar. They are not permitted to rule or control the free peoples of Middle-earth. Instead, they must offer guidance, using their wisdom to influence events rather than sheer force. But don't be mistaken, the Istari are incredibly powerful. Though they appear as old men, their true form as Maya gives them abilities far beyond that of ordinary mortals. Their staffs, which they often carry, serve as a conduit for their magic, allowing them to channel elemental forces, heal wounds, and protect others. In The Lord of the Rings, we saw Gandalf use his staff to summon lightning and fend off enemies, and in The Rings of Power, the stranger's powers appear to be similarly vast, though he doesn't fully understand them yet. Interestingly, the Istari's powers are not unlimited. They are forbidden from using their magic recklessly, except in times of great need. This is why Gandalf, Saruman, and the others often rely more on their intellect and cunning than on overt displays of power. The stranger's journey seems to echo this, as he struggles to come to terms with who he is and the extent of his abilities. But what happens when one of the Istari breaks these rules? Saruman's downfall offers a cautionary tale. Once the leader of the Order, Saruman succumbed to pride and ambition, aligning himself with Sauron in the War of the Ring. The Dark Wizard in the Rings of Power could very well be following a similar path, as his use of the mystics suggests a desire for control and power, much like Saruman before him. Exploring Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast, the known Istari. While much of the focus in the Rings of Power is on the Stranger and the Dark Wizard, it's impossible to ignore the established members of the Istari who have already played significant roles in Tolkien's universe. Let's start with the most famous, Gandalf. Known as Olorin in the Undying Lands, Gandalf was considered the wisest of the Maya chosen to become Istari. He arrived in Middle-earth during the Third Age and quickly became an integral figure in the fight against Sauron. Not only did he help the Fellowship on their quest to destroy the One Ring, but he also played a key role in uniting the free peoples of Middle-earth against the forces of evil. What's interesting about Gandalf is that, despite his immense power, he is often described as the least strong in terms of raw magical ability compared to others like Saruman. Yet, it is his wisdom, compassion, and perseverance that set him apart. Saruman, on the other hand, was the leader of the Istari. Chosen for his strength and knowledge, Saruman was initially a force for good, creating the White Council to counter Sauron's growing influence. However, his jealousy of Gandalf and his lust for power led him down a dark path. By the time of the War of the Ring, Saruman had abandoned his mission, seeking dominion over Middle-earth by aligning himself with Sauron. His story serves as a tragic reminder of the dangers of pride and ambition, themes that may very well be explored with the Dark Wizard in the Rings of Power. Then there's Radagast, the Brown Wizard. Radagast is perhaps the most enigmatic of the three well-known Istari. He arrived in Middle-earth around the same time as Gandalf and initially accompanied Saruman. However, Radagast's interests lay more with nature than with the affairs of men, elves, or dwarves. He became a protector of the forests, residing in Mirkwood, and had a deep connection with animals and plants. Though he didn't play a major role in the events of The Lord of the Rings, Radagast's unique relationship with the natural world makes him a fascinating character whose story could easily be expanded upon in the Rings of Power. The Blue Wizards, Alatar and Palando. Now let's delve into the two most mysterious members of the Istari, the Blue Wizards. Alatar and Palando, also known as the Blue Wizards, are perhaps the biggest unanswered question in Tolkien's mythology. Unlike Gandalf, Saruman, and Radagast, who were sent westward to aid in the fight against Sauron, the Blue Wizards journeyed east to lands we hear little about in the main canon. Their mission was to combat the forces of darkness in these distant regions, and Tolkien himself left their ultimate fate ambiguous. The few references to the Blue Wizards suggest that they played a significant role in the history of Middle-earth, possibly even founding secret cults and magic traditions that outlasted the fall of Sauron. However, there's also the possibility that they failed in their mission, succumbing to the very evil they were sent to fight. Some fans believe that the Stranger and the Dark Wizard could be the Blue Wizards, with their story now being reimagined for the Rings of Power. Given that we've seen little of the East in both the films and books, the potential to explore this region through the lens of the Blue Wizards is incredibly exciting. What happened to these two Istari? Did they fall like Saruman, or did they simply fade into legend? Perhaps the Rings of Power will finally answer these questions. Speculations on the future of the Istari in the Rings of Power. With all this in mind, what could the future hold for the Istari in the Rings of Power? We already have the Stranger and the Dark Wizard, both of whom appear to be central to the unfolding plot in Season 2. If the show continues to draw from Tolkien's lore, we could see more revelations about the Blue Wizards, their connection to the East, and their role in the larger battle against Sauron. One interesting possibility is that the Stranger and the Dark Wizard represent two divergent paths for the Istari, one who remains true to the Valar's mission, and one who, like Saruman, falls into darkness. This dynamic could lead to a larger conflict within the Istari themselves, as their powers and limitations are tested by the looming threat of Sauron's return. Additionally, the show has teased the idea that not all wizards are bound by the same rules. If the Dark Wizard has broken free from the Valar's control, what does that mean for the rest of the Istari? Could we see a rift form between those who wish to remain neutral and those who believe that more direct action is necessary to defeat Sauron once and for all? As the Rings of Power progresses, the Istari are bound to play a critical role in the unfolding story. Whether through the Stranger's journey of self-discovery or the Dark Wizard's ominous rise to power, the mysteries surrounding the Istari will keep us all on the edge of our seats. Will we finally learn the true identities of the Stranger and the Dark Wizard? Could the Blue Wizards finally make their long-awaited appearance? And how will these powerful figures shape the future of Middle-earth as Sauron's shadow grows ever darker? We'll have to wait and see, but one thing's for sure. The world of Middle-earth is about to get a lot more magical. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this deep dive into the Istari. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the Stranger and the Dark Wizard? Could they be the Blue Wizards, or are they something entirely new? I'd love to hear your theories. And don't forget to subscribe for more lore breakdowns, character analyses, and all things the Rings of Power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.